More than halfway through February, another week forward to spring. That time of year when it doesn't rain quite so much and the chance of snow is reduced by almost 1%. Welcome to Something for the Weekend with me, Stephen Day.
Me, Fiona Scott.
Me, Ellis Butcher.
And me, Kathie Griffiths.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Oh,
Hello. Hello. I nearly said me, Kathie Griffiths, spring personified.
Well, it's
I
true,
must need
isn't
to
it?
build myself up today.
So
We're
we'll
all spring personified.
shall we rename it? So we have summer, autumn, winter, and Kathie.
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. Which season would you like to be? If you could be a season, which one would you go for?
Autumn.
Summer.
Summer, yeah.
Oh, I quite like spring.
Well,
It's quite exciting time.
you are
isn't it?
No one
Spring.
wants to be winter, do they?
No, we've had enough of that.
No.
Move on.
No. But interestingly, at this time of year, we've got lots of wildlife. Have you guys been spotting wildlife in your lockdown surroundings?
Oh, not half. I'll tell you, my bird table at the moment is it's a feeding frenzy. We can't put their food out quick enough. And so, yeah, we've got a squirrel there as well.
Is it a red? No, it won't be a red
Yes,
squirrel, will it?
yes,
It
of
is.
course it is. Yes, Cyril the squirrel.
Cyril the squirrel.
Yeah, it's and the woodpeckers. They don't seem to bother the little birds. So, yeah.
What treats are you putting out to tempt them to your table?
Just your basics, just the peanuts, the mixed seeds, and fat balls,
Fat
And-
balls.
and bread when it's going foosty. So yeah, but
Well-
they're absolutely loving it. It's lovely.
Well, I'll tell you, someone spotted a pair of black grouse in the woods near Ganavan the other day, and apparently they're quite rare. These, it's a species in the UK that is on the decline, and it's on some kind of it's been flagged up, like red as a species that we need to keep an eye on. So they've been spotted there. And then also I was driving along the Esplanade on my way to Ganavan the other day, and there was a few folks sort of crouching down with the cameras on the Esplanade edge. And I thought, what are they doing? And it's the black guillemots are back. These little black guillemots with the bright red feet.
Yep.
Are just quite a sight. And apparently they do a little dance, they do a little jig as well. So so I need to sort of stop and have a closer look next time I see them. But so that's exciting news.
Well,
Of course it's mating
Ellis?
season, so they're all doing odd little things.
Which I wasn't linking into Ellis mating season, but Ellis,
Odd little things. Thank you.
have you spotted anything?
I have spotted. The other morning, I was out the back and I didn't have my glasses on, and I saw this movement in the little wood, and there were two young deer inching their way through the pathway. I'll remember it for absolutely ever. It was just, I was staggered all day, and it gave me such a lift.
Staggered. Very good.
Staggered. No pun intended.
Staggered. I did not intend that either.
You're a natural. What about you, Steevie?
Well, I feel a bit of affinity with the red squirrels because we're an endangered species. Me and red squirrels, are red hair. But we have quite a few trotting about the forest, more than I think probably people realise. They do, however, steal things. So I had a whole load of conkers that I was growing last year, and all the conkers were deftly dug up and carried away. And I did find a little stash of them in a little squirrel stash. So, I love them, but at the same time, I wish they would leave my conkers alone.
So let me understand this, because firstly, when you said they keep stealing things, I had an image of them sort of riding off on one of your bikes or something.
Well, do you know, I think given half a chance, they probably would. We have a lovely beech tree outside the house as well, and I'm convinced that during windy seasons, they're up there throwing beech nuts at me. But maybe I'm just squirrel paranoid.
And what's this thing about you burying conkers that squirrels are then digging up?
Well, I
explain.
Many years ago, I discovered that I could actually take conkers from various parts of Scotland and grow them. I have a few conker trees knocking about Argyll that have come from all over the place. And I thought, well, I need to do some more of these. So I gathered some from various places I'd been and I planted them, and they were all beginning to do something. And then one day, they were all missing apart from these wee dents in the pots. And as I say, I found a little stash of them, all neatly covered up.
So you're a secret conker tree planter.
I am. Well, I've managed to do 2.
There we go.
Has anyone seen the picture of the squirrel on the internet who's actually inside one of the plastic bird feeders stuffing its little face with peanuts?
No, missed that tree.
I don't know if it's real or not, but it looks very real. But it's just one of these perspex
It
things.
could be, because I caught ours down the fat ball tube when I came home one day.
There's a phrase I didn't expect to hear today.
Did you have to squeeze it out? Did you have to free it, release it?
No, surprisingly, it got out itself. It was fine, yeah. Its little bushy tail was sticking out the top. So yeah, they're quite adept at getting into strange places.
We had a photo in the Oban Times a year or so ago of one actually sort of trapezing along someone's washing line in Soraba. I don't remember that one, but that was quite a sight.
They're very intelligent
I think
creatures.
the squirrels are the SAS of the animal world, aren't they? They can go anywhere, do anything. They're just incredible.
And steal anything.
And steal anything.
Fee,
Stevie's got them marked. They're criminals.
I have. I can't tell you on air what we call them, but anyway. Fee, do we have anything that could possibly link music with nature?
Funnily enough, Stevie. Yeah, this is marine nature, but it was lovely in 2019, which seems ages ago now. The waters off the coast of Argyll were declared a hope spot, the first in both Scotland and the United Kingdom, and this was done by the non-profit organisation Mission Blue. So the Hope Spot sheds a light on the immense beauty, rich history and vibrant life along the country's west coast. Earlier this year, coastal community groups teamed up with Edinburgh community folk choir Castle Chorus to bring together some incredible footage of this marine life with the choir's original song Lullaby of Unknowing backing up their film. So it's absolutely beautiful. If you get a chance, go onto Castle Chorus's social media pages or web page and you'll see this footage. We've got a wee bit here, and to tell us about it is Castle Chorus co-chair Kerry Whiteside and musical director Caro Overy.
Hello, Something for the Weekend team. My name is Caro Overy and I'm the musical director of Castle Chorus. Castle Chorus is a folk and roots community choir based in Edinburgh, and we're really pleased to share our song Lullaby of Unknowing with you. It was written by 2 of our members, Graham Turner and Helen Graham. As a choir, we like to sing about things that affect our community and the world around us, and after learning about Argyll Coast and Islands Hope Spot and the important work they're doing to protect and restore their local marine environment, we wanted to dedicate this song to them. The pandemic has been a challenging time for community choirs everywhere, and we haven't been able to meet in person to sing together since March 2020, but we've stayed connected through online sessions. Choir members were able to record their voices separately on phones, tablets and computers, and I pulled all these together. It was quite a lot of work, but we were so happy to support and collaborate with the Hope Spot in this way.
I'm Kerry Whiteside. I'm the co-chair of Castle Chorus, and in my day job, I help to run the Coastal Communities Network, which brings together a bunch of different local groups around Scotland's coast who are working in marine conservation. It's a very vibrant space, and being involved in this network gives me first-hand insight into some really inspiring stuff going on off Scotland's coast. And Caro and I were having a socially distanced pint together last summer and thinking about how we could bring Lullaby of Unknowing to life. The Argyll Coast and Islands Hope Spot just jumped out straight away as a really perfect collaboration, not least because a lot of the locals there happen to be very skilled wildlife photographers and filmmakers. So I knew we had access to a wealth of footage that we could make a video with to accompany the recording of the song, but mainly because the song talks about hope for the future of the planet. And as the name suggests, the Hope Spot is this big shared vision of hope for Argyll seas. And if you watch the song's video, you'll see that those seas are home to incredible wildlife, from whales and dolphins to really colourful underwater reefs. But this wildlife also faces threats from things like destructive fishing practices, and that's why it's really important for these communities to work together to champion their vision of hope.
We hope you enjoyed the song, and you can find the video featuring the stunning film footage from the Hope Spot, brought together and edited by Helen Graham, on the Castle Chorus YouTube channel.
In the dark, we lit each other from our sleeping, softly woke, dreaming people last forever. From the night we brought forth hope. If I were a sealskin selkie, I would sing of diving down out of sight and into rapture, leaving care cast on the shore. In the midst of bloom and rising, I would riddle verse with sailors' lore, drag them under oil dark water, where the sunlight shines no more. In the dark, we lit each other from our sleeping, softly woke, dreaming people last forever. From the night we brought forth hope. Or perhaps I'd be a kelpie, shifting shade as seasons turn, moving where the winds may take me, speeding carefree through the glen. We have stepped in our unknowing, being human, legendary. Now we need imagination. Now we need new selves to be. In the dark, we lit each other from our sleeping, softly woke, dreaming people last forever. From the night we brought forth hope. From the night we brought forth hope. From the night we brought forth hope.
Are we all feeling nicely chilled now?
Very.
Wasn't that just glorious?
Yeah, beautiful. I can't wait to see it with the footage, though.
It's lovely. They've done a great job, Kathie. I was surprised they didn't catch you in it. I was expecting to see Kathie, swimming along with the dolphins.
Here I am.
You're our very own marine creature, Kathie.
Well, sticking on the marine theme, I caught up with a chap called Jack MacGregor this week. Now, before lockdown, Jack and his lovely wife, Linda, were running boat trips and angling trips in their boat from the old Oban Times slipway. Of course, lockdown came and that put pay to that pretty much. So when the chance came up for him to tender for a new ferry service to help get people living on North Kerrera over to the mainland while all this lockdown carries on and they can't use the little Oban Marina service that they were hopping on and off, he put a tender in and he was successful. So this week, there was a new little ferry service that started. They've got some emergency cash from some funding to pay for this. So I think that's more or less secured until May. So here's a little chat I had with him. Hello, Jack.
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay. So exciting times for you. You're breaking out of lockdown slightly to start a new venture. Tell us all about it.
So we I think we're one of a few boats that tendered for, or companies that tendered for this. So it's basically a short ferry to Oban Marina, and it's to help the people in the north end of Kerrera. So we are quite happy to do that. I come from an island, and I kind of understand the difficulties, even though in Seal there was a bridge to it. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, because you were a Creole fisherman originally, weren't you, over on Seal?
Yes, although I lived in Oban, I was brought up on Seal, and my first, or most of my days in employment were fishing, and so we fished from Balvicar Bay, and then latterly we fished from Easdale Sound, beside Easdale Island.
And then in 2015, you made the move, you started doing boat trips from Oban.
Yeah, so we kind of, I've been chatting to Colin Curry, the previous owner, and he had said he was wanting to sell, and then he got in touch with me in, I think it was February. So by the beginning of March, I had sold, 2015, I'd sold the fishing boat and all the gear, and I'd bought Colin's boat, and we kind of tentatively got into it. So every year we're learning stuff every year. It's really enjoy it, and it's really a team. It's my wife and I, and the boys help too.
So in normal times, what kind of trips would you be doing, and maybe how many people a day would you be taking out for trips?
So normally at this time of year, we'd be doing the odd fishing trip, angling, mostly with angling clubs in Loch Etive, and if the weather's okay, west of Oban. But as the season starts, we do more 1 hour and 2 hour trips with up to 10, 11 people. Obviously, during the kind of restrictions with COVID last year, we had to take the numbers down a little bit, but everyone was outside. So normally we'd be doing stuff like that. End of March is when our season starts properly, normally.
So it must have been difficult times, lockdown. You won't have been able to do the boat trips, like you would have normally been doing pre-COVID. So this, the chance to tender and put on this ferry service for the folks over in North Kerrera must have come as a bit of a blessing to you.
Yes, it helps a lot, and it gets me out of the house. I think Linda, my wife's quite happy. We're out of the house 3 days a week. So yes, it's been a bit of a relief, because I don't know, this year more than perhaps last year, I feel there's a kind of doubt about when we're going to come out of lockdown, So I think I get the feeling that the two governments are maybe a bit more serious about making sure that when we come out this time, it's a permanent coming out. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it might take longer. It might take a longer time to.
Fingers crossed, if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. Yes. So this new ferry service, then, it's going to be 4 ferries a day for 3 days a week. And it's emergency cash that's come from, it's government funding, isn't it? It's emergency resilience cash.
I believe so, yeah.
And how long will that last? What's the setup? How's it going to work?
Well, certainly it's going to last into April, I think. And hopefully it'll be a smooth transition from doing the ferry and everything opening up. Beyond April, I'm not quite sure, but Martin updates me all the time anyway, so I'm sure he'll let me know. Yeah,
because I know they're hoping that come April, work will start on building the road that's going to connect North Kerrera down to South Kerrera, where people can get the Gallinack ferry. So I think they're sort of pinning the hopes that all of that, well, the timing works to that. But for now, it must be a massive relief to people on North Kerrera, because I think before lockdown, they were using the Oban Marina connection service, weren't they, when they were taking people to Marina and backwards? But obviously with lockdown, they've not been able to do it. But I think the Oban Marina folks are helping out because they're sort of not charging the usual landing fee. I think they're sort of they've scrapped that to help the funding go a bit further.
Yes, I mean, even ourselves, we were very modest with what we asked for, and because we know everyone there, so I think it's keeping us going a bit, and obviously the longer the money lasts for them, it's better for them and even for me too, long term. Yeah, the road itself will be a great thing for one thing, the marina will probably benefit from having the road, the connection between north and south. People will be able to keep any people who have vessels on the island can keep it there safely, and it's easier to get to the north end. It sounds crazy trying to explain that the two ends of an island are not really connected, but everyone would be much happier, I would think.
Absolutely. So roll on April, and I think they're hoping that the road might be built and ready before the end of summer. So we're just going to have to keep all our fingers and toes crossed for better and brighter times, aren't we? And in the meantime, safe sailing. Do you sail in a boat? What's your what kind of boat have you got, Jack?
Yeah, it's what they call a freebird marine. She was built in 1996, and so she's coded and fitted out to do passenger work. But most of these hulls are fishing boats, actually. So yeah, very seaworthy.
Very, well, that's just what I'm sure the people on North Kerrera want to know. Feel reassured. Yeah. It's seaworthy.
And I had the engine rebuilt last year, so touch wood.
Great. Well, I know it's going to be so appreciated by people on North Kerrera. So that's great. So smooth and happy sailing.
Thank you very much.
All right. Take
Cheers.
care now.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Anyone else feel as though they need to break into Rod Stewart's? I am sailing. Sorry.
That's great news for Kerrera, though, because I know it's something that, it's been a problem for quite a while now. So to have something in place is great.
Yeah, they've got a great thing going on Kerrera. There's lots of exciting things happening. Doing up the old school, turning into a community hub. They're getting this road that's going to connect the north to the south. And so a place to keep an eye on. Lots of things happening there.
So when we open up again, Kerrera's the place to go.
And the little tea garden. On the way to the castle.
Kathie.
Happy days.
Do they do cake?
Do they? Martin and Aiden's lemon cake is to die for. Gotta say. Another thing to look forward to.
Kathie, I mean, building a road on Kerrera, that's a great thing. Who could possibly use a road on Kerrera?
What do you mean?
That's a link, Kathie.
Oh, I've missed that completely over the top of my head. Well, this is fitting in, isn't it, with our theme of nature and getting out there and enjoying everything that we've got on our doorstep. And there is a lot of people who've had babies during lockdown and they can't go to the usual play groups and have the social gatherings that they might have had before COVID. But there's a lady called Nikki Wasik who has come up with a bit of a solution, and she was inspired by a friend who she met in hospital when they were having their babies, who set up a little buggy club. So under the COVID restrictions, you can have 7 adults meeting up at any one time outdoors with children aged under 5. There's 100 of these clubs all over Scotland, and we've got one in Oban that Nikki runs. So it's Oban Buggy Club. And listen to this little chat. Nikki, good to catch up with you. You're not out pushing a buggy, are you?
Not right now. It's a bit windy out there today, so yeah, snuggled up instead.
Oh, sounds cozy. So tell me all about the Buggy Club and how it started and what's happening now.
So it's been going since about October last year. A friend of mine who I met in the hospital where I had my son had started looking into some guidelines to what was possible to do during the lockdown, and to try and allow us to meet up and whilst following the guidelines, just allowing us to meet up and meet other mums that are kind of going through the same thing to stop us from feeling so isolated. So I looked into the guidelines myself as well, and I found that we could set up a buggy club locally. So we've got about 175 members in our Oban Buggy Club. The national one has about 4,000 people that have joined into the group, and there's about more than 100 different buggy clubs across Scotland. So it's become quite a big movement just in the last few months. It's really amazing how quickly it's taken off. And it allows us, at the beginning of the kind of relaxing of the lockdown restrictions, we were allowed to meet up with 15 adults with unlimited numbers of under fives, children under fives. So that was a really nice way of kind of introducing everyone, and everyone that's had their babies during lockdown. It's been really tough because you're trying to kind of socialize yourself and kind of get through those first few weeks of those sleepless nights, and there's kind of nowhere you can go compared to what it used to be like when you used to be able to go to clubs and groups and soft play and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's really nice to be able to get out and do that. At the moment, we're allowed to have 7 adults. They've sort of restricted it a little bit, but it's great that we're still able to do that even with the new lockdown restrictions since Christmas.
And it's not just mums, is it? There's dads joining you as well, and the caregivers.
Yeah, anyone's welcome. So anyone with a child under 5 is welcome to join us, and siblings are allowed to come along too. So at the moment, schools and things are off, so don't feel that you can't come and join us. If you've got a 7 or an 8-year-old, they can come along too. And we've got a whole separate dedicated one for dads now, which has gone really well. We've actually having to put on a couple of walks a week because the dads seem quite keen, which is really good. Nice to get them out with the babies, and it means that the mums can maybe stay at home and either get some housework done or catch up on some work, or maybe put their feet up for a coffee. Maybe, I don't think so.
And it's so popular that you've got your own app now as well, haven't you, for people to book walks and a waiting list? Is that right?
Yeah, it's mad actually. So because before I started it off, and I used to just do it once a week when my wee girl was at nursery. She's 3, so everything's just that little bit slower when you've got a 3-year-old with you. So I just did it on the days that she was at her nursery. But because the nurseries have all closed down, we've actually got walks on every single day. Today we've got 3 walks on. Actually, there's 3 separate times to try and get through the number of people that want to join us, which is brilliant. Yeah, and so we've got one that's dedicated for newborn mums now as well. We felt that maybe like that it's quite daunting to join up with people, especially if they've already known each other and they've been walking with each other for a while. It's a really daunting thing to walk into a group of any kind, so we thought if we did like maybe a dedicated new mums one, then it would be a wee bit easier to kind of join in with other people. And kind of commiserate about those sleepless nights and how difficult they are, and realize that you're not the only one that's experiencing that, and that you're not doing anything wrong. You're doing a wonderful job. It's just that hard.
And what's it like? So when you're all strolling along with your buggies, what's the reaction of people when they see you coming?
Well, it's interesting. There's been a little bit of a shift, I think, since the last lockdown, which is completely understandable. When we were out with 15 buggies or 15 babies in slings or whatever before, people were really kind of, they'd say, "Oh, isn't it so nice to see you all out? It's lovely." And they'd be kind of waving to us and waving to the babies. And I think since the last lockdown, everyone's just finding it really tough now, which is totally understandable. And it's been maybe just ever so slightly less friendly, because I think people might assume that we're breaking the rules. So I've got signs to put on, that I put on the buggies, or I put it on my backpack if we're out and about with the babies in the slings, just to kind of let people know that we're not breaking rules and we're not being irresponsible. We're totally following the guidelines that have been set by the Scottish Government. And that helps to kind of just relay any fears that we're doing something wrong,
And the kind of places that you're going, I mean, there's some great strolls around Oban, but just give us an idea of the kind of places that where you head out to.
We're so lucky in Oban. We're just, the choice is limitless. So we started off, we used to just we parked up at Big Ganavan and we'd walk the cycle path to Dunbeg and back, because it's a nice route and it's nice and safe, away from cars, and it's, you can distance 2 meters across there, or kind of stagger the distance if it gets a bit narrower. Now, because we've got the toddlers involved too, we've kind of really had to be a bit more creative, because they want to go. So sometimes we'll go out to Glencruiton Woods. We often go out to Tralee Bay for a little run around, and the toddlers can take their scooters or their balance bikes and come along beside us. We've got the most popular walk, and you'll understand why, is we meet outside the coffee shop at Hinba on George Street. And I pre-order the coffee, so everyone just turns up and pays their money, and then we all walk along the Witches to Denali Castle. And everyone gets to have their coffee too, which is quite nice. And sometimes even cinnamon bun too, which is even more popular.
Great stroll there. So if people want to find out more about how they can get involved, what should they do?
Well, you can just look up the Scottish Buggy Club directory. Will have all of the ones. So the Scottish Buggy Club Facebook page is the national one, and it has all the buggy clubs if you're listening from a wee bit further afield. And the Scottish Buggy Club Oban and surrounding areas is the name of our Facebook page, and it tells you what to do to download the app, and it also has my contact details if you wanted to ask any questions before you came along. It's also got all the risk assessments and the current Scottish Government guidelines as well for you to have a look at too.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Nikki, for telling us all about the Oban Buggy Club. And happy strolling.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, now I'm going to pinch a buggy from somewhere. I want to join that.
Gotta have a baby in it. You can't just be strolling along with an empty buggy.
You could grab some squirrels.
Dog in it.
Squirrels.
I'll jump in it for you, Fiona. It's all right. Don't worry.
I think we'd be banned, Ellis. But that's definitely my kind of walking. That sounds about my pace. And the coffee.
I think it's just so fantastic because obviously my eldest daughter had a baby in lockdown, and it's such a difficult time out of lockdown, isn't it? When you've got a brand new little sort of life joining your household. So I just think this is an absolute lifeline to parents in Oban and surrounding areas. So well done, Nikki, and well done your friend who came up with the idea in the first place.
And listen, that's all we've got time for today. I'd like to fit in a Scottish word of the week, but we've overrun. As always,
again?
No.
Yeah. As always, we love hearing from you. So get in touch with your news, comments, photos, or even just to say hello by emailing us on somethingfortheweekend@obantimes.co.uk or contact us through the Oban Times Facebook or Instagram. You can read our stories online at www.obantimes.co.uk, and you can subscribe to our page-turning digital edition there as well. So until next time, it's goodbye from me, Stephen Day.
Goodbye from me, Fiona Scott.
Goodbye from me, Ellis Butcher.
And goodbye from me, Kathie Griffiths. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.